Okay, take three on this video. So obviously this is a reading on Perez Hilton. And I want to, I hope this video doesn't come across maybe just like 1% is a little bit of clickbait using a sensational situation for my own benefit. That's not really how I roll, but it is a sensational story that I find very interesting. But also, there's a personal reason why I wanted to do the reading, and it's because of my reaction to this person. Now, I never, only a couple months ago, maybe it's been a year now. Anyway, when he got, excuse me, when he got really, really sick, and I guess he made a video that I saw on Twitter. I will not call it X, um, where he was talking about like why he like his illness, like what really happened. I guess he had a huge infection. I can't remember, but do remember remember my reaction to the person. I thought, oh, another attention seeker. And I wasn't so, I mean, I absolutely had empathy for his illness, but he just kind of irritated me a little bit. And then when this whole thing happened with him and self-harm, live on TikTok, um, I was like, wow, what happened? And again, I was having a little bit of reaction like, oh my God, more attention seeking. Obviously, this person is mentally not stable. And I didn't like that reaction. And I thought, you know what, let's just look a little deeper and see what's happening. So really that's 99.9% of my motivation for doing that. Okay, so and also when I tuned in to get the archetype, so I have Perez Hilton, the knife. I was like, no, that's just my mind making up something because the knife is so crucial to what happened to him, cutting himself. And I was forcing my mind to receive other images, and none of them I was getting a yes, nothing. And then I went, okay, is it really the knife? Is there such a thing as a knife archetype? And I got a yes. So who knew that this lady, in case you're curious, her name is Elizabeth Nelson, like wrote and studied her whole dissertation on the Jungian's knife archetype. I guess now I'm kind of remembering that it did exist. And it's yeah, and she wrote a whole book about it. And also, I'm now looking on the internet, there's a whole game theory. It's called the knife theory, and it's about planting unresolved, painful, and high stakes narrative, I guess, as a backstory for uh what do you call it, Avatar. But this archetypal knife is about exploring the feminine power, its transformation, and self discovery through mythology. And I think this self discovery part really, really fits for Perez, and it will make sense when I talk about his soul contract. Okay. Yeah, the knife plays a big role. So absolutely, he is playing this role of the archetypal knife. Who knew? Okay, so what I want to share is, so Perez Hilton, I didn't know. I thought he was actually Paris Hilton's brother, but no, his birth name is Mario Armando Lavandera, okay, Jr. Now, his core wound is number 7. And number 7 is called the double-edged sword or the double-edged knife. Okay. And even that Jungian archetype talks about the double edge of the knife. And this talks about someone who is being split in half. Um, like they have this outward personality that they've like had to create, but it's completely detached from their inner feeling body, right? So they're split. Now, when you talk about, please don't beep again, um, he he never had a chance to be his own self, right? His individualized self. Why? Because he was named after his father. He's a junior. So right off the bat, this child um, what never had individualized self. He takes on the name of the father, and then it's a junior, which kind of like you're like, oh, I'm less than my father, but I've got to be like my father. I have to become all the images that my father, blah, 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 blah. And you don't have your own energetic system, as well as taking on the energetic karmas of that name. So really, right off the bat, and I cannot believe the hexagram that I got for this absolutely says the same thing. Okay. Now, the 7 core wound says, like, because he's separated, I'm going to be a mental being. I'm going to construct this personality based on what the outer world and parents and authority want to see. I am not going to be in contact with my emotional feeling body, because if I do, it's going to be painful. I don't want to feel the separate. Yeah, it's painful. And so what happens is these people behaviorally are like, the personality, like Robin Williams, the fast talkers, the jokesters, the life of the party, they're high spirit. I mean, they're really fun to be around, but they're all about distraction. Give me experience, highly set up for addiction issues. It's an escapism personality. So this core wound of not, I don't want to feel my feelings, I'm going to be a mental construct, how his outer personality will take that and express itself in a world. He's got the karmic 5s. I mean, this guy just did not have a chance. I guess neither did his father. It says, okay, I have a need to be heard. And so I'm going to go out into the world and make myself heard, right? And the thing with the 5, the energy of the 5 personality, like obviously he's been functioning at the shadow level, and what we saw this week is like the shadowiest shadow. And when the 5 gets to its darkest shadow aspect, disintegration, they call it, it's so mental. Well, first of all, let me tell you, anybody who has 5 in the physical karma, it means they do not feel comfortable physically, emotionally, mentally on earth at all. Like the vibration here is so uncomfortable. Um, they can't even, they don't fit in. They were probably bullied as a child. Nobody understood them. They felt like a misfit. So again, they stay in their mind and we're like, oh my God, I have to understand reality. I have to find something that I can cling to. And when they go off the rails, they create a whole alternate reality that is like they're off the rails. So let me just tell you, at the lowest level of disintegration, this personality, it gets into self-annihilation and seeking oblivion. This is the level of pathology. And this is what happens. Not only do, when the 5s are at this level, they become neurotic. Not only do neurotic 5s defend themselves from reality by cutting themselves off from every connection with it. They are so filled by anxiety now that they must also cut themselves off from themselves as well. They are trying to cut themselves off from their own consciousness, their own feeling body. And in fact, this is what he's been doing his whole life. And so this is the peak of his shadow, which I would say rock bottom, which I'm getting chills, which is now his time for transformation, discovering the myth of who he really is. And let's hope that he has the support and the good minds of people around him that they can understand this. And I don't know, he can move in that direction, right? Because more attention, take this video, understand Perez, Hilton, and I should have looked at the numbers of that name because I'm sure taking on a new name is like saying, I'm trying to create my own identity. I'm not my father. I'm not my mother. I'm not my parents. So very interesting. I should have looked at those numbers, but um, not pay attention anymore. Like the constant need for expressing online, that kind of attention seeking has to stop for him. We need to let him heal. Anyway, so what else do I want to tell you? Gosh darn it, it's going to be a long video. Perez Hilton, blah, 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 blah. So when I checked in, of course, when I check in, I become the person. And yeah, it was not comfortable for me. Immediately, my heart started racing, and my entire nervous system was firing. The brain was firing. There weren't any thoughts. It was just like just an entire overload of stimulation, rapid heartbeat, um, no thoughts. I'm just trying to read. And, um, people were wondering, look, they said, oh, during that day, he was acting just fine. And they were like, what was the trigger? Was it the family that was there? Was it his children? And I got to know. And what I got was that, yes, this trigger came from an outside source. Now, this is not to mean to take away his own responsibility, because even though I did get that it was an archonic demon, I hate to even use these words, it sounds so ridiculous, demonic or external attack, these attacks only happen because we create them in our own psyche. We have archonic energy in our own psyche that then we create our own demons. And I know this to be a fact because it happened to me in my own life when I was a child. I was so obsessed with suicide and, kind of being on the dark side that I absolutely manifested a being asking me, what I wanted to do, right? Which way did I want to go this lifetime? So this is exactly what happens. And so I got a yes on that. Um, Brought on by himself, a demonic attack. Yes. Now, this attack, because he's a public figure, is also being used in that kind of Lionsgate ritual energy that I told you about, because so many people will be tuned in, watching this, feeling it, having empathy, blah, 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 and activating his, like, sort of like not victim mind, but anyway, stirring up all kinds of emotions and stuff that these archons love to feed on. Okay. And what I did ask, what was the trigger? And sorry, I'm experiencing this. I asked, let me feel what he was feeling, how this outside influence attacked him. What was the trigger? Let me feel it. And oh my God, I'm kind of regretting that. Right into the heart. It was kind of like a knife right to the heart. And it was immediately brought up self-hate, self-doubt. Who am I? What is real? And my whole, and from my solar plexus, I started dry heaving, dry heaving. It was terrible. Um, so I can't imagine how he was feeling. And I can imagine this overstimulation of the nervous system. I could understand in a way why you would take a knife, to at least, pain, I think sometimes release endorphins. Do I have that right? It's just I don't know. Anyway, I can understand this. So yeah, that was wild. Okay, so what I got for a hexagram, like what do we need to know to understand this situation? It doesn't get it. I got hexagram 18 and it's called causes of decay. And these are the four causes of decay that Perez is feeling. He said it's setting, dealing with what has been spoiled by the father. He has his father's name. So all the images and traditions of the family handed down to him. That's one of the things that is decaying in his field, in his psyche. Also, things handed down by the mother. Um, her fears of the unknown, the boogeyman, the devil. Also, causes of decay. Sorry, it's about feeling guilty for the body and the body functions, and instilling guilt for the body is the source of evil. So I'm sure I believe he's gay. So I'm sure, and I think his heritage sounds Latin, and I don't think that they handled that well. So all this guilt, taking on the father's images and traditions and all this sort of, these were the causes of his decay. This is what the I Ching is telling us. Yeah, so it created in him a kind of victim mind, and yeah, and complaining. So also this needing to be heard. I'm going to go out into the world and um, I'm going to complain and blame about, I think he's a celebrity commentator. I'm pretty sure he's probably pretty snarky. So you could see, I'm going to snark about other people and complain and blame and shame, because it's kind of what people have been doing to me. Okay, I'm almost done with this reading. So base, when I checked in with the base, I was like, no, no, no. And all I saw were clouds. So that just tells you how absolutely ungrounded, how separated he is from his body, his feeling body. Sacral, liver, oh, bad tasting liver, so not good. And that has to do with stored anger, resentment. Yeah, so that's to be expected. Solar plexus, I was once again going like this, and no wonder I was feeling that dry heaves. I saw a bunch of blackbirds flying out. And number one, it's the infestation coming out, or that has been affecting him, this sources of decay. And also, the blackbirds coming out of the solar plexus is hopefully, this will be a time of transformation and a sudden release of repressed whatever, okay, repressed energy. The heart, the poor heart, it was like the organ is like that, the color of the heart, but it was all mushy, and my hand just went right through it, through his body. So broken out, absolutely broken heart. Throat chakra, what has he been expressing? All I heard was crying and wailing. So obviously a cry for help is what he's been expressing. Okay, what is his gift to humanity? What has he been able to share with others? And I got hexagram 43, or gene key 43, and it's all about being the creative rebel, bringing the rebellious energy into the world. And I think he did. And it's about, speaking your truth no matter the consequences. Now, of course, he may have been focusing on the shadow aspect, because the need to be heard, to speak is to deafen his own inner feelings. But at the same time, I'm sure he was fun to listen to, somebody out there just saying, like, he sees it, he calls it, and that's a creative rebel. So that is, is his gift to society. So we all have a gift, no matter, even if we're living in the shadows. Yeah. Whew, I hope this video was insightful and helps you to understand more about Perez Hilton. Okay, until next time.